My name is Josh. I'm a co-founder of Ephemeral, and we are building a platform of semi-permanent tattoo inks to pioneer the next generation of tattoos. Tattoos are awesome. We've learned that most millennials either have a tattoo or at least have thought about getting one because, well, tattoos are pretty cool. But a lot of the time, tattoos can turn out not so cool.
It's cool.
And unfortunately for these people, they're stuck with this mess forever. And this permanence is exactly why the tattoo industry hasn't been able to reach its full potential. We've learned through hundreds of hours of customer discovery interviews that 2 out of 3 millennials who don't have tattoos actually want one. But the only thing holding them back is the lifetime commitment that they demand. And this permanence doesn't only scare people off from getting tattoos, but it also causes problems for people who want to remove them. Because the only way to remove tattoos is through laser surgery. And laser surgery sucks. It's extremely expensive, it's ineffective, and it hurts a lot. That's actually my co-founder's son's arm up there, and he paid $500 for just one tattoo, one session of removal. And he was asked to come back 10 more times over a span of 2 years, and was left with these bloody messes and permanent scars. And as you can imagine, he didn't go back. And unfortunately, if you want to get a tattoo, you really don't have any options. You either get something that lasts for 2 weeks and comes off after a few showers, or something that lasts for your entire life. So that's where we come in. We want to be in between these two extremes and give our users the freedom and flexibility to determine how long they want to wear their tattoos. So to do this, we're building 2 distinct products, a tattoo ink and a removal solution. The tattoo ink is designed and engineered to last roughly 1 year without fading. And the removal solution can be applied at any time to change or remove the tattoo. But we're not stopping at 1 year. Our ultimate vision is to build a platform of 1, 3, 5-year tattoo inks that really transform the market of tattoo customers who typically only purchase once or twice into a community of tattoo users who are constantly adapting and changing their tattoos to reflect who they are at each point in their lives. So how does this work? Our tattoo ink consists of really, really small dye molecules encapsulated in a spherical structure. And the removal solution simply breaks down this structure, allowing those tiny dye molecules to escape, effectively removing the tattoo. And the beautiful thing is that our technology works perfectly with the existing tools and equipment that artists are all used to using. And guys, I'm really excited to share the results of our first in vivo study. We recently completed a 6-month trial with a widely recognized medical research organization to test for safety and for stability. And after 6 months, we've proved exactly that. But efficacy isn't everything. We know that in order to really make this work, our tattoo inks need to look as good as and feel as good as the best ones out there. So we're constantly testing on pig skin, which is actually the closest comparable to human skin, to make sure that it's exactly that. So enough about our technology, let's talk about business. We'll distribute our products with a B2B model and a pop-up parlor twist. So what does this mean? Well, we'll sell our ink and removal solution directly to tattoo parlors and distributors. This is the easiest, most logistical free model that tattoo artists already know, love, and most importantly, trust. But the thing is that tattoo artists tend to be, let's say, resistant to change. And they really need to see things in order to believe them. So before we distribute our products with B2B in a major tattoo city, we'll launch our own pop-up parlor for a short period of time to really demonstrate the beauty and demand of our tattoos. And of course, to actually make any of this happen, we need a rock-solid team. And that's exactly what we have. To start off, I have a background in computer science and stats from NYU Stern. Sung and Anthony both have backgrounds in chemical and biomolecular engineering with both protein research and retail strategy experience. Brennel and Vondon both have PhDs in chemical engineering, have extensive academic research and industry experience, and have worked together for over 5 years. Our scientific advisory board right now consists of a dermatologist and a biotech research veteran with over 30 years of experience, and they've been insanely helpful. So we started this mission around 2 years ago as a group of 5 colleagues with a shared passion for really revolutionizing the tattoo industry. And since then, we've come a really long way. Last year, we won NYU Stern's 300K startup competition, and then graduated from NYU's Startup Launchpad program. And then following that, fast forward a bit, and we're featured at TechCrunch Disrupt and go insanely viral online with millions and millions of views on YouTube videos and Facebook videos. And just last month, I'm extremely excited to announce that we've closed our seed round led by Techstars Ventures. So that's it. That's Ephemeral, that's our story, and that's our vision. Thank you. And that's Sung.
Any customer usage, metrics, feedback, response?
So we still haven't launched the product yet. We were planning on launching in around spring of 2018. So we haven't actually, done any customer tests yet, but we've been speaking to customers for the last year. And I guess one of the most interesting things that we've learned is something I mentioned earlier, that most people actually want tattoos and have actually considered getting them and have spoken to artists and have gone almost near a tattoo shop, but the only thing holding them back is the tattoo permits.
So it sounds like you want to grow the user base for tattoos, but what part of the value chain, or how big is the value chain for the ink, right? And so how big is your actual ink market?
Yeah, so that's a hard question to answer because every single ink company out there is private. The tattoo market right now is $3.2 billion, and obviously the ink market is a subset of that. But the thing is that we can apply our technology to applications way beyond the ink market. To cosmetic tattooing, we've spoken with Estee Lauder, and something more recently, we've spoken to a lot of doctors who want to use this for cancer therapeutics.
And what's your anticipated price point for it? Is it going to be consistent with what inks are today for traditional tattoos?
So right now, for an average size tattoo, picture something like this large, the ink cost would probably be around $1 to $3 depending on the ink brand. And with our ink, it would cost roughly $10 to $15 to the artists. But we've spoken to them, and it's a relatively fair price point that they're totally okay with and pushing on that extra cost to the users.
How big is this market? You said 3.2 billion.
Yeah.
But what's the growth in this market? Where do you see yourselves, and do you have any projections of, what your sales could be?
So, regarding sales projections, if I were to give you an honest answer, it's kind of out of thin air. It's really hard to make these things up. And the tattoo industry is going roughly 5 to 10% every year, and around 50 million people have tattoos right now.
Are you patenting any of the technology that you're developing?
Yes, so right now we're currently strategizing with our IP council to pursue IP.
What have you learned so far for any of the early versions of your products or tests?
So far, the tests have been really good. So before we raised our initial funding, we did a ton of testing in labs. They're called in vitro studies. And then we took the data from those studies and we took it back to the labs and reiterated the product. And then we moved on to our first in vivo model, which is the rat study that you saw. And that study, although it was only a 6-month study, the results have been promising and worked the way we expected. Now we're going to take those results and reiterate again for the next model.
Is the market regulated by the FDA?
That's a great question. So surprisingly, the FDA does not regulate tattoo inks at all. And although we don't expect to obtain any FDA approval or clearance before we get to market, but with that said, we're going to make sure we do every single test possible to make sure it's completely safe before we get to market.
I think that's all the time we have for questions, but yeah. Confirmed. Thank you, guys.